For over 50 years, the Niger Delta has been destroyed, damaged, and devastated. Since the discovery of crude oil, the oil-rich area has been home to multiple undertakings that have devastated the environment and impoverished its people. The majority of the population who depend on agriculture, notably farming and fishing, for their survival have lost it all. This is as a result of the damage caused by the crude oil industry. Likewise, many people have succumbed to various illnesses as a result of the industry's activities. However, one little known fact is that routine gas flaring is a major factor for the suffering in the region. Gas flaring destroys the environment and causes pollution to the air and water. In turn, this destroys the plant and animal population in the region, leading to rising poverty and hunger. So, what is gas flaring? Whenever crude oil is pumped from the ground, natural gas and formation water leave the earth as well. With no infrastructure to process this gas, it is mostly burnt off or flared. This is why it is common sight to see thick smoke and heavy flames in the skies of the oil-producing regions of Nigeria's Niger Delta. This results in the emission of millions of tons of carbon dioxide, causing unimaginable damage to the health of the people and their environment.
Nigeria is ranked the 7th highest gas-flaring nation in the world. Ironically, Nigeria remains energy insufficient and the world's poverty capital, despite the huge economic potential of its gas supplies.
If harnessed properly, gas can provide a reliable source of energy and clean water to the population. Do you know that Nigeria loses $2.5 billion yearly because of gas flaring since the country started producing oil in the late 1950s? Think about it. Have you ever imagined what Nigeria could do with $2.5 billion? This could mean thousands of kilometers of roads and railways were built, thousands of health centers constructed, equipped and properly managed, thousands of houses constructed for low and middle income earners, thousands of megawatts added to the national electricity grid, millions of trees planted, and millions of extremely poor Nigerians brought out of poverty. What is Nigeria doing about gas flaring? Since the production of oil in 1958, the Nigerian government has provided a series of policies, regulations, and laws to reduce or end gas flaring. In 1969, the Petroleum regulations encouraged oil companies to end gas flaring. However, this law had no penalty for non-compliance and was largely ignored. In 1979, the Associated Gas Reinjection Act set a 1984 deadline to end gas flaring. Under this law, companies could lose their oil fields for violating the agreement. This did not work. The 1985 Associated Gas Reinjection Decree 7, set penalties for gas flaring in Nigeria. Oil companies were made to pay less than 1 cent for every 1,000 standard cubic feet of gas flared. This was revised to 50 cents in 1990. A review of the fiscal penalty for gas flaring moved the payment in 2018 from 50 cents to $3.50 per 1,000 standard cubic feet. It is important to note that a federal high court judgment in 2005 declared gas flaring illegal in Nigeria. Why is flaring still going on? Oil companies and the Nigerian government. Clearly, oil companies have little or no interest in spending money or infrastructure to end gas flaring, or to pay the penalties for their gas flaring activities. Big corporations like Shell, ExxonMobil, Chevron, and Ajib continue to pay lip service and make commitments to ending gas flaring, but progress remains elusive. In a 2011 sustainability report by Shell, the company blamed insecurity for the slow creation of gas gathering infrastructure. Yet, this insecurity has not stopped it from extracting crude oil from the Niger Delta. Despite the multiple laws regulating gas flaring, they are hardly enforced. This is because the government is also a part of the gas flaring activity. The NNPC, a government-owned entity, has the biggest stakes in oil production activities through various joint ventures with these big oil companies. The NNPC stands to gain profit from the weak implementation of these laws. One case in point is the continued underreporting of gas flaring figures in order to evade penalties. Right now, official figures only account for about half of the actual estimates of flaring activity. In 2018, the NNPC recorded 282 billion standard cubic feet of gas flared, while the satellite-powered World Bank-supported gas flare tracker recorded 472 billion standard cubic feet. So what should be done to end gas flaring? 4 things. 1. The Nigerian state and government must completely divest its interest in oil production companies. The penalties for gas flaring are not paid because the interests of oil companies and the government are tied. This is the only way that the government as a regulator can truly hold producers accountable to compliance with gas flaring regulations. 2. The legislature and government must strengthen all laws and regulations around oil and gas operations with systems that promote accountability and transparency. 3. The Nigerian state, through its government, must make required investments in building infrastructure for gas processing. 4. In line with Nigeria's nationally determined contributions, NDCs, of the Paris Agreement, which states the country's commitment to ending gas flaring, Nigeria should develop a plan of action for the process of ending gas flaring, the alternatives to gas flaring and energy-efficient technologies for the oil and gas industry. Finally, remember that gas flaring is very costly for Nigeria. Putting an end to this activity is vital to the development of the country.